Good evening. Welcome back to In the Khud. This is September 29, 2022, 9 p.m. And you see a bit of smile, a bit of excitement for the episode today because I do have my usual microphone here and I'll probably may or may not use that for the recording today because I'm wearing the new Sony WH-1000XM4 headphones. They arrived today and I spent the whole day today using them for work, used them for calls, and looking at the waveform here, the microphone seems to be doing pretty good as well. So we could just use it for the entirety of the recording, but I have no notes made because, of course, that's not the format here at In the Code. It's just whatever's coming to the mind. But the main thing here is I cannot hear anything outside. It's at noise canceling right now. If I was to press this button once, it's ambient sound, and now, wow, I can actually hear my voice almost as if I am speaking into a microphone and hearing the what do you say, the feedback that comes out of a microphone. I mean, I don't know how to make you understand what I'm hearing, but it's amazing. If I press it once again, okay, that's battery. Now this is ambient sound control off. Again, it's back to the noise cancellation. One more ahead is going to be noise cancel. Noise cancelling. Now this is like noise cancelling is almost like nauseatic. I did read one person's review saying that, oh, it's nauseatic, you'll start to go mad. But I think the second one, surprisingly, ambient sound works so well here. It's almost as if I can hear myself in the microphone. So I'm using this for the rest of this for the rest of In the Code because the audio seems to be pretty good anyways. And I did do a couple of calls as well today, so nobody had any problems of any sort. So I think this is an investment that's going to solve all of my problems as far as audio is concerned. So quickly going through the day, I'm just going to keep this box aside. I will have at some point played the unboxing video for this. Woke up at 7 today, took Snowy down. After coming up, watched Chong 3D's GeoNodes tutorial, where on an ice cream stick he uses geometry nodes to make those layers of liquid come up and not using simulations. But I think some parts of that tutorial I could make use of, obviously, but not that tutorial exactly for the ice cream project I'm trying to make. For that, simulations and particles will do much better. Then I continued with the day because it was 9 o'clock already. The biggest thing I did figured the layer mask script. So in yesterday's episode, when I was doing a breakdown of the Tata AIG video I'm working on, I repetitively said that I need to have an After Effects script that can just take a layer and make a mask move across it just to reveal that layer. So I will show you what I have made today inside After Effects. This over here is to I don't need the script as now. This over here, I do need to bring it a little down just in case I'm using any file commands or anything. This here is two layers. Okay, I'm gonna select these two layers and I want the mask here. You see this docked called layer mask dock. It has this edit text box which has a help tip on it which says enter transition duration in frames. So in 20 frames, I want a mask coming from the left side and revealing these two logos. And I will do that simply by clicking a button. So I'm going to select these two and I'm going to press L and voila. I'm going to take these and press U and you see that from the left there are masks that are coming in and revealing them. Okay, I'm going to undo these masks. I want them to happen from the right. So I'm going to go do this within 20 frames is coming from the right. I want them to happen from the bottom. Is it from the bottom? Oh, up as in it's coming up and down. I want them to happen from the bottom, so it is like this. The biggest thing I had to figure out is how do I make a mask move from one point to the other, because apparently there was no such thing online, like ready-made as far as After Effects scripting is concerned. So that was huge. And then applying it for multiple layers, and I spent up until 4 o'clock in the evening trying to figure the script out. And frankly, it's not that difficult to do actually, but because it's so repetitive and I can do it in a click of a button, that's huge. Towards the end, I also tried to do a circular thing. So if for circular thing, I have to figure the in tangents and out tangents. Right now, the values I've put is making like a butterfly at the center. I don't know why. And also because every layer, if it's a pixel layer inside Photoshop, that layer has a rectangular bound to it. It can be square if the sides of the rectangle are equal, but it is essentially rectangular bound. So what I have to do is I have to form firstly a circle at the center and then have that circle expand such that it exceeds this boundary value. Shouldn't be that difficult or complicated. I just have to figure out how in tangents and out tangents work in respect to masks in After Effects. So that was one huge thing. Okay, I'm gonna just delete this mask. And because I was here, I wanted to also figure why my opacity switch is on my other screen. So I'm just gonna undock and bring it here. Why this script of mine was not working for multiple layers. And so now if I select these two and I just come in here and say F in, it's gonna fade in over 20 frames. And it's gonna add a transform effect called fade in for both of them. Okay. When I undo that, I could also fade out. So over 20 frames of fading out. Of course, you have fade in and fade out options here. No tooltip, I have to add that. And there's an opacity switch. So that's also working fine. So a lot of things I had to figure out. Of course, this is all the UI. I just run it. So I have a reference. This is the entire UI and everything. Now begin undo group. We have four functions here. Function left, function center, function right, and function down. A complete breakdown of this will make this video like 30 minutes long, so I'm not trying to do that. It's already 10 minutes up. So I'm just gonna maybe leave that for some other day. But yeah, this was one huge thing that happened in the day. Corrected the opacity script. This arrived and also this light arrived. Now there's something very weird about this light. So this light does look good and it was also working good, but for some reason in my 3-port switches it's just not working. So maybe it's because in the 2-port switches this works fine. So I mean I even have to go through that destructive process of drilling a switchboard in the wall behind. I'm thinking of maybe waiting till tomorrow until the electrician comes and does that switchboard thing so I can try it out. But now that I'm putting it in, that level of uncertainty is not something that I want. I want it to plug in and just work like a normal light should. Otherwise, it's a very good light. So I'm going to replace it if this particular item is faulty, which seems like the case. Then 1610 finishing off remaining segments of Tata AIG. Looking forward to using the scripts, and I did use these mask scripts. The last thing that I was contemplating through the day is now that I have these bunch of scripts, I can just bring this panel here. These are all my scripts. So I'm going to place this here. Folder saying opacity switch, nullify dock, pop and float. I want to make pop and float such that I'm not using expressions on layers. Instead, I'm using transform effect on layers. So that way I get keyframes to work with. Line paths dock is also amazing. So the rift is not mine. I just place it here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This needs a lot of improvement. And now 6 being this one, layers mask dock. So now is the perfect time for me to transition into extensions. So there's scripts, there's extensions, there's plugins. Now plugin is something like trap code or video copilot stuff. That's plugin level things. We have to use C++ and do things like those. That I feel is like a huge jump. But extension is something that I should definitely go into, because one thing I want to do is I just want to have this, like Mobar has this very compact sort of UI thing, like a single bar, and all these things are included in that bar. And I just click a few buttons, just as efficient as it can be. Like you see how inefficient this is, this whole thing to be moving around here and there. So now I have the luxury of these huge 2-monitor screens, and what if I have to work on a laptop? I need to be able to use these in a very compact form. So jumping into extensions is what I need to learn next, and there is this beautiful tutorial by none other than NT Productions. Entirety of what I've learned with After Effects scripting or scripting in general is through his tutorials, so really thankful. But this tutorial is where he walks the viewer through how we can use HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and bridge JavaScript and the JSX file to do certain things. Now, at least once I have the bare bones in post that, I can figure out how I want to go about making the UI and everything. But that's the next order of business that I want to work on. Other than that, as far as Blender is concerned, I haven't done anything today. A lot of the time went in figuring out this headphone. So what I'm going to do is, maybe I'm thinking about this, and at some point I could do a proper review of this headphone on the channel, and not like specs and how it looks and feel and everything. I want to do the review after experience of 30 days or so working as a full-time motion designer. Currently the battery is about 80%. I use it the whole day, so 20% battery went in a day, which means that with a single charge the headphone should last for a week at least. One little thought that I got in my mind just before recording this session is, the way life is right now, gadgets and technology and things like lights and camera and mic and everything is just coming in. And now is that phase starting where You start to realize the more stuff you have, the more materially equipped you are, the less happier you're going to be. But when this is not the case, you feel like, oh, if I just had that, if I just had that, I'd be happy. That's not going to be the case. And that reminds me of this book, which is again sitting on my desk. I need to start reading a few pages every single day. But days just go away with very little control over them, so I don't get the time to read. But I'll definitely try taking out some time to do that. Thanks so much for being in the crowd. I will catch you tomorrow. Peace.